Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. This is another episode of Coffee Talk. We're actually on episode number 10. I'm really enjoying this. So, what you can expect from today's Coffee Talk, we'll go over two cases that we'll be covering this week, the case of Tyree Nichols and Lauren Agee. And then we're also going to go over some of the headlines that I was looking at this morning. It's all breaking news. Let's see. I selected 1, 2, 3, 4 different stories. And then we can talk about everything that you guys want to talk about. Welcome in CJK, Cindy, Joe Newman, Boston Christian, and Sherry Faye. What's up? Good morning to you. Jason G. Good morning to you, my friend. Sleuth, give me a news recap of the morning. Still in bed. You got it. I got some good. This is all breaking that we're going to go over today. Here's some of those headlines. A suspect accused of breaking into NFL player's home posts selfies with stolen items. I actually pulled 2 for that one. Here's the second story I pulled. Illegal migrants busted in Joe Burrow home robbery posed with stolen luxury goods. Very interesting. New Jersey man accused of threatening passengers, crew members on flight from Florida. This was fucking scary. That headline doesn't do the story justice. I mean, this guy was threatening people and banging on the captain's door. Like, fuck that. And this one broke my heart. 13-year-old boy accused of 11. Oh, this isn't the one. This is a different story. 13-year-old boy accused of 11 break-ins targeting young girls. This is the one right here that really affected me. So, viewer discretion advised on this one. Family confronted man accused of sexually abusing girl. She was a minor. As he sped away, he hit and killed her pregnant sister. I mean, what is wrong with these people? So that's what we're going over today on my end. And then anything you guys want to kind of take a look at or that you think is newsworthy. What's going on, CJK, Christine? Yeah, very scary. Mustang, how you doing? Good morning to you. Should have. Yeah, I think we'll start with that one. So, New Jersey man accused of threatening passengers and crew on flight from Florida. CJK says that vile monster, Steven Stern's lawyer, wants most of the case dismissed. Psh, good luck with that. That's a dead man walking right there. I say let him out. I say let him out. He won't make it one day. Guarantee you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Christine. Says yesterday my daughter had to put her dog down. It was my mom's, and she gave it to her when she got sick. I'm so sad. That's hard. That's the hardest part about being an animal lover. You know, you just outlive all of your favorite pets, all of your pets, you know, all of your love, all of your little fur babies, I guess, what some people call them. I wasn't a big animal lover until I met my wife. Ziggy, good morning, y'all. On break at work. Just thought I'd jump in. Hey, Ziggy. Hopefully you're having a good day at work. Don't let the man get you down. All right, let's get into some of these stories here. These are some of the stories that I selected because they kind of affected me personally, like some of my fears. And this is definitely a fear of mine. And I don't think I could sit back while somebody's creating a ruckus on an airplane. I think I would have to create some kind of a mob. I'd be the guy duct taping the guy around the chair and shoving a sock in his mouth. So, a New Jersey man is accused of threatening passengers and crew members on board a flight in Newark from Miami to Miami, Florida. Now, I'm grabbing this story from CBS News New York, and apparently it was written by Renee Anderson, and it was posted just like probably 30 minutes ago. Federal prosecutors charged 27-year-old Luis Vaquero of Passaic County with one count of interference with flight crew members and attendance by assault and intimidation. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. This is in quotations. Over the course of a 3-hour flight, we allege Vaquero lost his temper and physically harassed not only the crew and captain, but passengers, making threats of physical violence towards a disabled minor and mocking a group of Jewish passengers. Acting Special Agent in charge Terrence G. Riley said in a statement, it all culminated in a terrifying attack and attempted breach of the flight deck when witnesses say he banged on the cockpit door and confronted the pilot. Like, hell no, that's when you, bam, whack him with something right in the back. The harrowing flight and other similar incidents on board airplanes recently and creating tension and fear for flyers and crew members. FBI Network has a warning for those who think it may not be a big deal, breaking federal law, and they will be brought to justice. So no goofing off on the plane. Prosecutors said Vaquero started harassing and threatening passengers shortly after takeoff on February 9th. He allegedly mocked a group of Jewish passengers, threatened physical violence towards a minor with disabilities. He is also accused of threatening a crew member who refused to serve him alcohol after beverage service had ended, telling her in part, "You better watch out." Once the flight landed at Newark Liberty International Airport, the crew alerted law enforcement to meet the plane. Prosecutors said when Vaquero heard the announcement that law enforcement was on the way, he started banging on the cockpit door and demanding to see the pilot. He's accused of threatening to break a crew member's jaw and threatening the pilot while just inches from his face. Vaquero was escorted off the plane and taken into custody. He later appeared in federal court and was released. So he's definitely facing those charges. Yeah, don't fuck around on the airplane. That's like a no-no. Madeline's mom should have her butt parked in jail too. Yeah, she's a disgusting woman. I agree with you, Sherry. We're also going live later today on the Idaho college murders. Something we didn't bring up last night that I really wanted to. Let me put this up on the screen. So I really want to talk about Dylan and Bethany. I've noticed a lot going on, a lot of people accusing them, and I guess a big part of why people think Brian Koberger is not the guy is because they want to accuse these two young ladies. And this is the kind of shit that really bothers me because people are so engulfed in their own ego that they can't see clearly. Like hindsight is 2020, right? How in the hell did Dylan and Bethany, how could they even fathomed or comprehended that there was a man in there killing 4 of their friends? So if she was scared, if Dylan was scared and went in the room because she saw a man, it's not like she saw a murderer. She just saw a strange man. I don't know who that is. It's probably a guest in the home. But either way, it's kind of scary because I'm not sure. But now that they discovered 4 victims, everybody wants to point the finger at these poor young ladies without any evidence, just because they acted strangely. And honestly, guys, the one thing that I've learned covering true crime is if you're not acting strangely, now I'm suspicious of you. If you're not acting weird and doing weird things, because there's no manual for this kind of shit, right? There's no rule book. There's no class that you take like, hey, when your 4 classmates and roommates are murdered, this is what you got to do. And you got to do these steps just in case something like this might happen. That's not how it works, guys, especially after a night of partying. You wake up in the middle of the night and there's a strange man in front of you with the mask. I'd like to see some of these trolls be put in that position and see what they would do. You'd probably ball up on the ground crying like little bitches. But I digress. Exactly, Idaho. It's very upsetting because it's all built on this weird speculation and this weird love, this weird hybristophilia. There's a hybristophilia aspect to it all. This love of this murderous killer, Brian Koberger, he's like he's a rock star to them now. I mean, you guys don't forget Ted Bundy was married while behind bars and had a child while behind bars. It's disgusting. CJK says those 2 girls aren't involved. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if they are or they aren't, but they most likely are not. And there's absolutely no evidence that suggests that they are. The only thing that I can see is they just acted very strangely. They didn't call law enforcement. Well, they didn't know that there was a brutal murder that we would be talking about years and years to come after the fact. Nobody would even think that. Oh, I saw a strange man in my home. I wonder if all my roommates were just brutally murdered by a psychopath. That's not what you're thinking. You're thinking every once in a while there's random people in my home. But just to be safe, I'm going to go in my room, lock the door. I don't know, and I'm not going to make a big deal about it if it's not a big deal. We'll come to find out, hindsight has revealed, indeed, it was a big deal. One of the biggest deals in the history of mankind. It will live in infamy. So when I see people attacking those girls, it really bothers me. People always ask, why is there so much drama in the true crime community? Why is there so much hostility? Because of people re-victimizing people. And then they stick up for the defense attorneys, and that's what they do best is they re-victimize. They want to put people on the stand and they want to re-victimize them and paint them as a third-party suspect. That's what they want to do. That's the only reason the defense team wants to put them on the stand is they can point the finger at them. That's not right. Unless you have solid evidence, go for it. By all means. And the ignorance of people like us, just out here where we're not on the inside, we're on the outside looking in. We don't get to see everything. Like, you have to understand that they interviewed these 2 girls. You think that they weren't considered suspects early on? Absolutely they were. But they conducted their investigation and discovered that this is not who they're looking for. So it's just shit like that really bothers me. I'm not here to defend, I'm not taking the stance. It's not a stance that I take. It's not a channel stance. Like, hey, we always here to defend these people and that. No. We just know what re-victimizing looks like, and we know the ignorance of the online troll. They don't need facts. They just need that echo in their little echo chamber. Yeah, it's disgusting, CJ. I mean, the dude probably killed over 100 women. We don't know all of his victims, and he's in there having sex with a woman and getting married and having children. Should never happen. It's disgusting. Yeah, constantly, CJK. And they're going to use that as the defense too. It was a party house, so Koberger probably came and gone. That's why he was always out there. He wasn't stalking anybody. He was a party boy. That incel little tickle monster, he wasn't allowed at that party. Sorry, Steve Buscemi, you can't come in. That's why he did what he did. All right, let's take a look at this report. Some of them actually have videos, so we'll tune into those. This is from Good Morning America. 13-year-old boy accused of 11 break-ins targeting young girls. 13.
We turn now to Michigan, where police say a 13-year-old boy has been arrested in connection with multiple break-ins targeting young girls. Eva Pilgrim is here with more. Good morning,
13-year-old boy.
Good morning, Rebecca.
This
That
is scary.
teenage boy is behind bars this morning. Investigators say he appeared to target young girls, breaking into their homes, in some cases attacking them. Detectives say the 13-year-old has been tied to 9 completed or attempted break-ins in the Detroit area dating back to 2022. The recent attacks really causing fear in that area. The most recent break-in last Tuesday. Investigators say the teen, wearing a ski mask and all black clothes, broke into a home through a window before choking a 10-year-old girl who was sleeping. Her screams scaring him off. In each case, detectives say the teen got in through an unlocked window. In a few of the cases, he carried a knife. Authorities thanking the public for all the tips, saying it was a tip that led to this arrest.
That is a serial killer in the making right there. This is how it all begins, guys. Fledgling attempts, stalking, trolling, crossing, being a habitual line crosser, right? It goes from, oh, I'm just stalking, to voyeurism, looking through windows, maybe recording videos of your target. And now you're inside the home and your adrenaline is just pumping and you're high off your adrenaline. And you can't believe that you're actually doing this. You're like outside and you're looking at yourself. It's just like Brian Koberger, right? They fantasize and fantasize and fantasize about it. It just keeps pushing them further and further and further. This is your American psychopath right here, guys. And there's more of them out there than you'll ever realize. And I'm not talking about just somebody who's suffering from a personality disorder. I'm like, yeah, I suffer from psychopathy. I'm doing the best I can with it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sexual sadism. You know, kind of like these pyromaniacs who light fires and masturbate. You know, same with some of these killers. They can't get sexual gratification unless they're torturing, destroying, or causing mayhem. That's what they get off on. Wife Lilith in the building. Yeah, I might be on one today. I might be on one. 13 years old. Yeah, when we covered the Delphi case before we knew about Richard Allen, we talked a lot about the mean teen theory because a lot of you couldn't fathom the idea of a 13-year-old committing a brutal murder. Well, you got somebody here that's a serial, basically I mean, what would you call him? Choking a 10-year-old girl, carrying a knife, wearing a ski mask. Now, this is somebody that if he wasn't caught would have evolved, right? They learn how they got caught or how they almost got caught, and they do better next time. Like the BTK, remember he was using a 22 caliber weapon and it really wasn't doing the job. He would shoot his victims and they would fight back. So then he realized, okay, I need to go to the 357 that I have. That'll be my primary weapon. So it's not like the MO changes. They just get better at what they're doing. They get better at hiding it. Yeah, this is one scary SOB right here. I mean, he's in all black. Look at him. Imagine waking up to go check on your daughter, and this son of a bitch is in there with his hands around her neck. And the part that really gets me that I can't understand is at one point, this gentleman here, this young kid, is sitting in his room or his home or whatever. Like, what the fuck is going on in his head? What is causing this guy right here, this kid, really, he's a kid, to get up out of his chair, put on this clothing, put on the ski mask, and go out there and actually enter into a stranger's home? The compulsion that he must be going through. That's what scares me. It's not just him and what he did. It's what's causing it that really terrifies me. You know, it's the same thing that causes people to go commit murder and then to come back and do shit like necrophilia. Like, we're talking about really depraved people here. So you guys need to be careful. You need to protect your family. You need to make sure that your doors are locked, your windows are locked. Every horrible case that I've ever seen involves this, when it comes to serial killers, usually involves this maniac looking for an unlocked door, an unlocked window. Rule number 1, cameras, lock up, and make sure you're practicing the Second Amendment. Let's go to Cindy here. BK's attorney is doing a good job in trying to verbalize her issue with the DNA. There will have to be legal changes made with the changes in technology. New precedent cases needed. This may be one. I don't think so. I think that they follow the law. I think they're going to be fine. Excuse me. Because no matter what, the way they were able to get their hands on a DNA match was because Brian Koberger provided his permission. When he gave his DNA, I think what was it, genealogy? He had to sign a document that said, you know, I'm okay with law enforcement referencing this DNA. Ziggy says, unfortunately, he will probably be back on the street once he's 18 because he's been rehabilitated. Yeah, right. He probably continue on. I don't know. Some cases, they're allowed to lock people up. They can charge them as an adult, or in some cases, they might even be able to keep them until age 25. But either way, you're right. I don't think you can rehabilitate somebody like that, especially that young. That means that he's probably been dealing with fantasies and impulse control issues probably from an early age, like age 8, if not earlier. Absolutely, CJK. What that's referred to is a mitigating factor. And that could keep serial killers from being put to death. And I think they're even going for that in the Koberger case, right? They're talking about how he was bullied as a kid and it may have affected his mental health. That would be a mitigating factor. Something that they would look at. It wouldn't ever get him out of prison or anything like that, but it would just keep him, I think it would remove the capital. No capital punishment would be allowed based on like mental health. So that's what they're doing right now with his medical records. They're just trying to save his life, I think. But man, because if they find him guilty, he might have to face a firing squad. That shit is crazy to me. So they better be sure. There's no taking that back. Yeah, I know what you mean, Cindy. But I don't think it has to do with how they got the DNA. I think it just comes down to consent. You know, was his rights violated? You can't violate somebody's rights when they've given consent. It's kind of like you having a right to appeal after a guilty conviction, but you're allowed to waive that right in a deal. Like, hey, if you guys promise not to put me to death, I will waive my right to appeal, and in return, you give me a life sentence. Well, it's your right to an appeal, but you've waived it. So that's kind of what you do in some cases when you're giving your DNA. You kind of sign a waiver. Like, hey, if you do this, you need to be aware that law enforcement might have access to this information. So even though the defense is going to paint this picture like it's something that it's not, remember, that's what they're good at. But the truth is, it's just all about consent, and he gave that consent. Good thing he did too. Cindy, don't get me wrong. BK did it, and he's going to trial. And yeah, I understand. That's not what we're talking about here. I just feel like there's no going back from genetic genealogy. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Three suspects accused of breaking into.
Okay, so I got a quick video here, and then I want to read the article. Let's take a look. Suspects accused of breaking into NFL players' home post selfies with stolen items.
Three suspects accused of breaking into NFL player Joe Burrow's home are making the lives of prosecutors a bit easier. Investigators found selfies showing them posing with stolen jewelry. They have items and other luxury items as well.
This is a Rolex.
The Chilean men are facing federal charges of transporting stolen goods across state lines and falsifying records. Grand. They allegedly stole about $300,000 worth of merchandise. Similar thefts by South American groups target high-end houses near undeveloped land to conceal their approach. The three suspects were arrested in a traffic stop last month.
Did you see the earring that he had? It was a marijuana leaf. Not sure NFL football player is supposed to be smoking weed, but what do I know? New York Post kind of provided more information on this story. I'm going to read about it for you. A gang of illegal immigrants busted over a robbery at Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow's Ohio home. Allegedly posed for photos. Oh, here it is. Let's pull these up. These guys look like doofuses. I wonder if they got their hands on that necklace right there. It's a nice jacket. What's up, GP? G Pizzle. In the hizzle. Yep, there it is. Can you guys see that? We can zoom in on that. Right here. That's the one he was wearing. And then right here is the marijuana leaf. Bum, bum, bum. And he's got a grill. What the fuck? Interesting. Let's get a close up on these knuckleheads. The dude in the front looks like a chubby 8-year-old. All right, let's continue on here. The trio of Chilean migrants are accused of snapping the brazen photos after allegedly storming Burroughs' 7.5 million home on December 9th and making off with roughly 300,000 worth of his luxury possessions. Damn. Federal prosecutor said the photos laid bare in court documents showed the alleged perps flashing Burroughs watches, glasses, Louis Vuitton luggage, and wads of cash. The alleged gangbangers also posed wearing NFL stars JB9 number 9 chain necklace, according to the feds. The images emerged as the suspects Jordan Francisco Sanchez, Bastian Alejandro Oriano Morales, 22 and 23, Sergio Andres Ortega, 38, were indicted in federal court in Cincinnati on Wednesday. So that would have been last Wednesday. Here's the criminal complaint. Out of curiosity. Okay, here we go. Here's the probable cause. Upon arriving, investigators discovered that nearly 300,000 worth of designer luggage, glasses, wristwatches. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a Rolex. And jewelry had been stolen from the residence. JB was not in the residence at the time of the burglary, and he was in Dallas, Texas for an NFL game. An associate of JB, OP, had been dropped off at the residence shortly after 8 p.m. and noticed that the living room and master bedroom looked unusually messy. She then observed that a master bedroom window on the back side of the residence had been broken. There's no alarm? You got a multi-million-dollar home and you have no alarm? The window was located at the southwest corner of the residence and faced a wooden area. The burglary likely occurred between approximately 6 p.m. and 8:14 p.m. on December 9th. Notably, JB was away from the residence from approximately 2:30 p.m. on December 8th, 2024, through the time of the burglary due to playing in an NFL game in Dallas, Texas on the evening of December 9th, 2024. Although JB was out of the state at the time, a security detail had been deployed to watch the residence while he was gone. Well, they didn't do a very, very good job. So instead of getting an alarm put in on your home, you get a security detail that's probably watching the football game. At approximately 6 p.m., a shift change occurred with the security detail. This involved a walk around the perimeter of the house, during which no windows appeared to be broken. After 6 p.m. and during the likely time of the burglary, the security detail was positioned in the driveway at the front of the residence. Somebody's getting fired. Wow. Time of the burglary, the security detail was positioned in the driveway. Wow, what a joke. What a joke. Due to these factors, it is believed that the burglars entered the property from the woods located to the southwest of the house, which would have been out of sight of the security detail. They then forced entry through the bedroom window at the rear of the house. No security cameras were located at the rear of the residence. So instead of doing what you're supposed to do with your millions, you're buying earrings with marijuana leaves and with diamonds. You need to rethink your priorities, buddy. On December 10th, 2024, law enforcement investigators returned to the scene to continue the investigation. It was discovered that a decorative topper to one of the fence posts had been knocked to the ground. Moreover, a tracking canine was deployed in an attempt to follow the path of burglars. After an article search, the canine traveled through the backyard and moved eastbound in the direction of 8 Mile Road. 8 Mile? Uh-oh, better watch out for Rabbit. The K9 eventually stopped tracking in the vicinity of 7980 Old Kellogg Road. The residence located at 7980 Old Kellogg Road is currently vacant and listed for sale. The property is connected directly to JB's property. Yep. So out of curiosity, I want to take a look at this. 7980 Old Kellogg Road, Cincinnati. So they knew who they were targeting, and I'm sure they pulled up Google just like we are now. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of woods here. GP says, I'm in the house. Going to have to go back to the start of this once this is over. Did I miss a lot? No, we're just hanging out. We're talking about breaking news and the Koberger case. Fight for Justice. How are you? Welcome in. Good morning to you. Yikes. GP says, nobody else wanted to drive in this crap today. We got sleet and ice. Yikes. Please be careful. Gonna freeze up later, so nobody else wanted to do it. Guess who is? Well, you be safe. CJK, high dollar homes would be expected to have high dollar security systems. Okay. So I'm not sure which property is his. This looks like that's 814. We're looking for 7980. So he must be 7982. Oh, so they're talking about this property here. So this must be his home right here. Damn. Look at how big that house is. Yeah, he must be at 7982. And they came in. Oh, no. I'm thinking this might be his home right here. The way they explained it in the affidavit. Yeah, he came in through this way. Let me see. Let me read this part. Tracking the vicinity of 7980 Old Kellogg Road, the residence located at 7980 Old Kellogg Road is currently vacant. Okay. Listed for sale. The property is connected directly to JB's property. So I was right the first time. So it says it's connected directly to his property. So that would be this one. And there was something going on with the fence back here. So I'm sure they went back here and broke in. And the security detail was parked somewhere right here. How embarrassing. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spend $10,000 on a security detail, and my house is robbed while they're sitting in the parking lot. That's fucking stupid. No, looks like we got street view right here. Let's see if we can get a better look. Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. That is a beautiful home. That's crazy. As a homeowner, I'd drop that company if I had them. I would sue them. Might even have them investigated. Hey, Audrey. Okay, investigators made contact with the HOA president who provided an image from a trail camera that was located in the vicinity of 7996 Ayers Road. Let's see, 7996. Okay, so 7996 is right here. So they came back this way through this dirt road. So they were captured on a trail cam somewhere in this area. So they must have just kind of walked up through here. Through these trees and then went around the back here. Broke in somewhere back here and went through a window. CJK says, were they just wandering the neighborhood looking for houses to burglarize, going from neighborhood to neighborhood? Well, actually, they're part of a gang that targets they've targeted NBA players, so they must have known. I think this was a targeted attack. They say, hey, we know that this guy's not home. How do we know? Because I'm watching him on the television right now, and he's in a different state. That's how I know he's not home. So it's kind of a good way to target these houses. Unless you have a good security detail, which he obviously didn't. Says here on the webcam, or not the webcam, the trail cam, the image displayed that appeared to be a single person. So I was right. Walking through the wooded area, carrying what appeared to be a piece of luggage. Someone must have caught him leaving. On December 11th, 2024, investigators discovered a vehicle of interest while utilizing license plate readers in the area of the incident. On December 9th, at approximately 7:28 p.m., the LPR camera located near 8100 Old Kellogg Road and 8 Mile, gotta watch out for bunny rabbit, captured an image of a white-colored 2024 Volkswagen Atlas SUV bearing Florida license plates. Oh, shit. Got him. The vehicle was towed from the McDonald's by a private towing company, so they abandoned it. The MO of this burglary is consistent with burglaries executed by South American theft groups. So this is what I was referring to. Theft groups, SATG. SATGs are known for several organized crime trends, including pickpocket crimes, commercial burglaries, and residential burglaries. The SATG MO for residential burglaries include targeting high-end houses that back up to green spaces, walking trails, golf courses, or other undeveloped land that are used to conceal the approach of the suspects. And these are all illegal immigrants, guys. You know, they then gain access to the residence through a rear window or glass door on the second floor when possible. Items targeted are predominantly jewelry, and designer accessories, often leaving behind other valuable items. SATGs coordinate their efforts from coastal locations such as New York, California, and Florida. Typically, after the burglaries are committed, the SATG returns to one of these coastal locations to fence the item stolen. The groups usually consist of foreign nationals from South America who either enter the country illegally or overstay on visas to continue committing their crimes. These guys, poor migrants, they wouldn't do that. SATGs often travel using rental vehicles and will carry false identifications and documents. Yeah, I mean, I guarantee these guys weren't doing burglaries. They were picking our fruit, working in our restaurants, other things that the Democrats say they do, right? They couldn't be doing this. Right now, we're going to have to go pick our own avocados because they busted these guys falsely, which is already like a racist thing to say. Like that's all us brown people are capable of doing, right? Just picking fruit. We don't own businesses, we're not successful people. That's all we're good for, right? Democrats picking your food and serving you at a restaurant. That's all migrants are good for to you. Let's see. In recent months, several agencies across the United States have shared information via email regarding these burglaries through a nationwide SATG working groups that is maintained by the FBI. These agencies have had burglaries that fit the SATG MO, wherein professional athletes were the victims. Many of these cases share similar fact patterns to the burglaries described above. Crazy. Google sports stars' house addresses. I've never done that. That was a first for me. Okay, now this one is very, very disturbing. In case you guys want to read along. Family confronted man accused of sexually abusing girl as she sped away. He killed her pregnant sister, police say. Looks like this is the scene of the crime here. This is by Nathan Solis, and he put this out yesterday at about 11:01 in the morning. And here's the piece of shit right here. Isaac Blackhorse Garcia, 19, of Moreno Valley, is accused of murder. Hit and run resulting in death and unlawful sex with a minor. Jeez. A 16-year-old pregnant girl was killed in a hit and run by her younger sister's adult lover after the girl's family confronted him about the relationship, Riverside police say. Isaac Blackhorse Garcia, 19, was arrested and booked on suspicion of murder, hit and run resulting in death, and 2 counts of unlawful sex with a minor in connection with the girl's death and his relationship with her 15-year-old sister. The girl's family confronted Blackhorse Garcia after he dropped off the 15-year-old at her home on February 2nd in the 1500 block of Gregg Place. Riverside police said, as the family approached him, Blackhorse Garcia sped away and struck the pregnant 16-year-old, according to authorities. Police responded around 11:45 p.m. and found the severely injured pregnant teen. Man, she was taken to a hospital where she later died. Identified the teen victim as Kaylee Corona and reported that medical staff were able to deliver her baby. Oh, that's great news. Who remains in critical condition. Say a prayer for that young baby. Our girl was more than just a teenager. She was a radiant light in our lives. Her family wrote in a GoFundMe campaign to help cover funeral costs and medical bills for the baby. The grief we feel is indescribable, and the void she leaves behind is immeasurable. her family said. In addition to losing our sweet girl, we are now facing the urgent medical need of her baby. I hope the baby makes it. Who is fighting for her life. Authorities found Black Horse Garcia's vehicle in Moreno Valley and arrested him on February 3rd. He has not entered a plea according to court records, and his attorney did not immediately respond to a request for comment. He's being held without bail and is scheduled to appear back in court on April 14th. God. Decisions have consequences, people. So if you make good decisions, you're going to have good consequences. Okay, so probably over the maybe within the next week or week and a half, these are the two cases that we'll be looking into, having discussions about. This is the Tyree Nichols case. This report is titled 3 ex-Memphis officers found guilty of witness tampering in the Tyree Nichols case. So this is corruption on full display here. So we're not pro law enforcement here, guys. We're not. We're pro truth. And if law enforcement happens to be in the right and the ones holding all the factual information, we're going to support that. But in this case, it's a different story.
Trial in the police beating death of Tyree Nichols during a traffic stop in 2023. NBC's Rahema Ellis joins us now.
What's up,
Rahema,
Charles?
this is pretty surprising to a lot of people, including the family of Tyree Nichols. We were down there when they released that video. It was incredibly shocking what we saw from the men involved with the quote-unquote Scorpion unit, a crime suppression team. What did we learn today in court?
What we learned today, I think,
unit.
was surprising many people, Tom, exactly because of what you said. This beating was
More like illegal gang members wearing a badge.
captured on videotape. It ended up being a deadly beating. 29-year-old Tyree Nichols died just a few days after he was beaten. What we found out today in court is that the 3 officers were all convicted on charges of witness tampering, but Demetrius Haley was guilty on 4 of 6 charges, including witness tampering and a lesser count involving bodily injury. Former officers Justin Smith was acquitted of federal civil rights violation, and the same is true of former officer Sedarius Bean.
So here, count 1. Deprivation of rights under color of law, excessive force and failure to intervene, deprivation of rights under color of law, deliberate indifference, conspiracy to witness tamper. This is a huge conspiracy, guys. So to think like this shit does not happen, I got news for you.
Those officers, all black, as you point out, were members of this special crime suppression unit. They were all fired, but it's not over for them. These officers now face charges in a state court of second-degree murder.
And I know this information is just coming in. I think we have the video of some of what happened when he was taken out of the car and he was beaten, because I think it's important for the viewers to see this, to understand why the family would be upset with the jury, with the verdict reached so far. Is this sort of the end of the case as we know it for right now? We know 2 of the officers did plead guilty, right?
Yeah, and those 2 officers also cooperated with the prosecutors in this particular trial of these 3 officers. But as we mentioned, it was a split decision on the part of the jury. 1 officer being found guilty on most of the charges, but 2 of them found not guilty on most of the charges, with the exception of witness tampering. And again, as I say, this is not over. Even after the second-degree murder charge that these...
And the one thing that is alarming for me, just covering true crime for so long, I know that these cops are probably responsible for a lot worse. They just happen to get caught for this. You know, it could be much worse. There could be bodies buried all over that place.
Former officers will face in a state court. You could expect that there will be civil charges that will come out on this case as well.
And what was so interesting about this case was that
Absolutely,
the police released
CJ.
that video
Absolutely.
immediately because they didn't want to have any protest. They didn't want to have any problems. And they fired those police officers pretty quickly as well after that video was released. I'm sure there's a lot to go in this case, but we thank you for bringing us the breaking news that just came in.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, they didn't want a Rodney King situation. Charles, I'm a professional at bad life choices. Well, that's what happens when you're stubborn. or crazy. Keep doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. All right, this is going to be our final little video here. This is the Lauren Agee case, and we're going to be covering this one pretty soon.
Good evening. New at 6, a mysterious death at Wakefest 2 years ago continues to tug at the hearts of our community tonight.
As News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen explains, more than 10,000 people have signed a petition begging for the case to be reopened.
Vicki Lauren's mom, Sherry Smith, has spent every waking moment trying to get to the bottom of what happened to her daughter. While police say her death was an accident, the investigators she's hired believe that is not the case.
I keep in here a huge selection of pictures.
2 years ago, Sherry Smith lost her daughter weeks before she would have turned 22.
Lauren was a breath of life to everyone who knew her.
Lauren Agee was camping on this cliff at Wakefest in July of 2015. When Lauren's friend Hannah Palmer woke up, Lauren was gone. At 4 the next day, her body was found by fishermen at Center Hill Lake.
There are many trees. There are many branches. It is almost impossible for someone to fall and roll and hit the water.
Police in DeKalb County called her death an accident. They think she fell from this hammock down the cliff and into the water.
It's a cold case.
Sherry doesn't think it makes sense.
I know that there is more to this than what has been, investigated.
She hired an attorney and a private investigator. They recently filed a $10 million wrongful death lawsuit.
We just want to find the truth. And 2 years worth of me searching, spending God knows how much money, just trying to get answers.
Their investigation revealed more people were camping on the cliff than reported to police.
We've uncovered other situations, like one of the suspects was on probation for domestic violence at the time of Lauren's death. One of the suspects had gotten into an altercation with another female the Friday night before.
The autopsy report says Lauren died of blunt force trauma. Sherry wants the FBI or another agency to reopen her daughter's case.
We are at 10,334 signatures.
A stranger who started this petition feels the same.
It makes me feel good in the fact that people care and they want to know the truth, just like we do.
I called and emailed the DeKalb County Sheriff last week, but I have not heard back yet. If you would like to learn more, we will post the petition to our website.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that you can look forward to on this channel. And then later on today, we will be covering the Idaho 4 case. So we'll just, this will be our 5-minute warning. If you guys have anything to add, please do so now. And replay crew, if you didn't catch the live stream and you're in the chat or you're in the comment section, let me know what you thought about today's live stream. And if you need to get a hold of me, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And as far as whatever's going on between Mustang and Charles, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. I'm not taking sides. I would, if I had to take sides, it would definitely be Mustang's side. So, but if you guys can't control yourselves and you just feel like you can't chat without being at each other's necks, I'll just get rid of all of you. Because I don't like this distraction. I don't like negative energy. It's very upsetting for me. So I don't know why you guys keep continuing to do that. And even if somebody's antagonizing the other behind the scenes and then coming into the chat and then acting like, oh, I'm innocent, I don't know what's going on. Ooh. Just stop it. You guys are like right on the verge of just getting completely blocked, right? And then I'll be the bad guy. But people don't come in here to see this bickering. And I have mad love for you, Mustang. So what I'm about to do is going to upset me. So I'm just going to ask, this will be the last time that I ask you guys, and I'm begging you, just stop. So that'll be the only warning you guys are going to get starting now. I don't want to hear any rebuttal. I don't want to hear anything about it. That's it. I don't want to hear, oh, I didn't say anything or I didn't see anything. Just stop with it. As soon as you guys started commenting this crap, everybody stopped contributing to the chat because it's distracting. It's upsetting. We don't understand what's going on. We don't know whose side to take because we really don't care. We're not involved. We won't allow anything like this to happen. And if it happened behind the scenes, I have no control over that. It definitely didn't happen in my Discord. Didn't happen on my channel because I wouldn't allow that. And I'm not going to allow it now. So just cool it. But anyway, everyone who was participating in the chat, big shout out to you guys. All of you who are members of my channel and continue to donate to the Cash App, to the Zelle, the Venmo, to support me, to see me stay on air here on YouTube, maybe even a couple other platforms in the future. I salute you guys. I'm here because you put me here. And if I stay here, it's because you keep me here. So much love. And I will see you guys again later today. Thanks for hanging out. And be cool.